Oh. Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Y'all, it's 2025. What? 2025. Happy New Year. First
V.
official week of 2025. We had a half week. Some people like that doesn't count. Yeah, it does. It was still 3 days and I don't know,
Happy
five
New Year.
days, whatever. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And welcome to Redefining Authenticity. We're still here. I am your co-host, Kim Martin Raymond, your toolbox essentialist and founder of Redefining You LLC, where I help my clients to realign themselves, mind, body, and spirit. And we're doing it 365 days of this year with my 365-day challenge. Take it away, Ms. Sheronda.
Hey, my babies. I am Sheronda L. Barksdale, the vision specialist of Authentically Your Expressions LLC, where I help you create a vision for your life, to know what you want to do in the most authentic fashion possible. And we ain't playing with y'all this year, dang it.
Not playing. Not playing.
Peace, G.
Yes. Hey, G,
Happy New Year,
Veronica. Happy New
y'all.
Year. Happy New Year, y'all. All right. So, we going in tough right off the rip. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to be talking today about toxic relationships. Okay.
Woo.
Going
Are we
into a
going
new
in
year.
immediately, Kim? Are we going
We going
in?
right in. We going right in. Like I said, we about to wear this like a leotard. You know how I am. We about to put it on. Okay, we're about to put it on you because we're going to be talking again about toxic relationships
Right.
and freeing ourselves from those toxic relationships. And
Help.
we want to make sure that people realize that those toxic relationships are come in many different forms and fashions, right?
Period.
We have some we tend to think about toxic relationships. We think about our significant others, those who we're in a more of a sexual relationship or more of a bonding kind of relationship that way.
Mhm.
But toxic relationships also can take place in your workplace and also can take place within your own family. you
Yes,
know
come on.
and we
And
have to get
please
that
let me
specific.
say,
Sure.
don't feel guilty if you've been in a toxic relationship. That's the only way we learn and we grow. Don't feel bad about it, but know what you're doing and know how to get out and get the help you need to free
Absolutely.
yourself from toxic
Absolutely.
relationships.
Absolutely. And that's what we're gonna talk about identifying what toxic relationships look like. Because
Mhm.
sometimes when you're in the throes of a relationship, you don't realize until all of a sudden you start feeling some kind of way or you start second guessing some of the things that are going on within your relationship, and it makes you pause and question, well, what's going on here? And
What's
you
going
know,
here?
am I is this a relationship? Is it supposed to be like this? And so we have to start being able to at least identify it, because when we identify the things that are going on with us, we can begin to acknowledge that it's something that's taking place in our lives. And then that's going to help us to get to that next step of healing. How do we
Period.
get to that place of healing if we can't acknowledge what is going on?
Can I real quick say
Absolutely.
thank you to each and every one of you who have subscribed to our channel that are jumping in right now live because you clicked the notification button
That's right.
and you knew that we were jumping on right now. So I love y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being
Thank
here.
you. We
Mwah!
appreciate your support. And just like you said, down there at the bottom of the screen, our YouTube channels are scrolling across the bottom of the screen. They'll come up as a QR code at the end of the show. So that way you can like, follow, share, subscribe. And again, click that notification bell so you'll always know when we're hopping on
Let's go.
live.
Let's go.
Live. All right. So like I said, we got a lot to dive into this evening when we talk about toxic relationships. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about the signs that your relationships may be toxic. And the first one is a lack of trust. Okay. We know that the foundation of a healthy relationship is built on trust. If you don't trust that person, then there's already a tension in your relationship.
Mhm.
because you don't know whether that person feels that you're going to be honest in the things that you're doing. Or if you're not with that person, they don't know where you are and they're just assuming that you're doing something that's suspect. And that may not
Yes.
be the case at all. And you may feel like you have not even given that person any reason to not trust that you're where you say you are or doing what you say you're doing.
Ooh, child, who
Okay?
has time? Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just said who has time.
Nobody. Nobody has time for that. But that's where the beginning of that toxicity starts. There's this lack of trust. There's all of these questions that are being asked, and you always like you have to second guess the things that you're doing or saying because that person doesn't think that you're being honest. And so once that trust is broken, that's where the toxicity begins and the tension in the relationship begins. And just like I said earlier, it's not just about your significant other or your spouse or your boyfriend. That lack of trust can happen even in the workplace. You can be a person that's been doing a wonderful job at whatever it is that you're employed to do, and then next thing you know, all of a sudden you're being micromanaged. All of a sudden they're asking, well, what are you doing with this? And how are you doing this? And before that wasn't the case. And so now you're sitting here like, wait a minute. I've been on this job XYZ number of years, and now all of a sudden it's a problem. Where did the breakdown take place? And you begin looking at yourself and saying, well, what the heck did I do wrong? And now you're second guessing anything that you've done. And it may not be you. It may be
Yes.
that. All right, Sharonda, I can go on for days. Go ahead.
Yo, this is where I'm gonna go with it. Because the name of my business is authentically your expressions. Sometimes you're in a toxic relationship with yourself. Sometimes you're in a toxic relationship with excuse me, yourself. And the reason you know is because you don't trust yourself. You
Mm,
don't trust yourself to make the right decisions for yourself. You don't trust yourself to make the right decisions with a significant other. You don't know if you're doing the right thing when it comes to a job. You don't know what it is. And you have a difficulty in believing in your own thoughts. And that's toxic. That for real is toxic because it's your life. People don't have the ability to put you on a scale. They can't. People try. Let's be clear. People will try to make you feel like they know what's right for your life.
right.
But after they tell you, girl, you shouldn't be with that person. Yes, you should be with that person. No, you shouldn't have that job. Oh, why are you buying those clothes? And it's what you believe after they've left you behind. Because guess what? They don't live it out. You know what it looks like in your intimate relationships. You know. You know what it looks. You know what your bills look like. People can't just tell you to leave a job. You got to find something else first. Some people be like, girl, you need to leave. Yes, I do, but I'm not just going to leave.
Right.
And when you don't trust yourself and you listen to everybody else, you end up with a life that it makes you unhappy. And
Right.
they happy because they don't give a damn about what you think about yourself. They don't
Right.
give a damn about how you living. They live in their own life. That's what
Yeah.
they doing. So sometimes you have to be able to learn to trust yourself and to not be around people who are telling you what to do. They may have suggestions.
Right.
They may give some let me show you both sides of this and things like that, or people that you see doing good with their life. Those are the people that you really should be listening to. But you cannot. Peace. My God, mommy's on here. Angel on hand. Peace. Happy New Year to you. You got to be able to trust yourself. You can't just listen to any and everybody because these motherfuckers be lying. They'll tell you to do something that they won't even do their goddamn self. Lord, I didn't say I was going to stop cussing New Year. I didn't say it.
We're working on
I,
it. You
I
did.
ain't even working on it. Let's be honest. Kim was much better than me, at least online.
Right. Right. Right.
Just give me a minute. But plus, you can be toxic to yourself sometimes, and you have to learn how do I trust that the decisions, even if I make a mistake,
Mhm.
even if I make a mistake, I made a decision that felt good.
Right.
Come on, Kim.
Right. But just like you said, it's important that you, like you said, you have to be able to trust yourself. But when we talk about toxic relationships, it doesn't mean that you're the victim. You're not always the victim. Sometimes you're the person that's toxic in the relationship. So I want that to be clear as we're moving through this. Sometimes when we talk about these signs, it may be you that's bringing the toxicity to the relationship.
You trying to make our
Maybe
views
you
go to zero? You trying to make our views go
have
to zero?
so the bottom line is, we can be the one that has a lack of trust. We may be that one that when our significant other puts that phone down, you trying to figure out how you gonna get in there. You trying to look over their shoulder, or you're trying to, ask questions. Well, where are you going? What are you doing? And I got you on Life 360 because I need to know where you are every waking moment because you may not be where you say you're going to be. It can be you that's the person that has a lack of trust. You may you may,
Yeah.
you may not trust yourself to be able to do the things that you're supposed to do when you're in this relationship, or you're not treating somebody the way that they should be treated, and you're the person that is part of that toxicity. And so it's important to recognize it not only in others but also in yourself.
May the church say amen. Let the church say amen.
Okay. Okay. That's a sign that we're being toxic. That lack of trust.
I love
Make
it.
sure that it's not just that person that you're looking at, because while you're pointing the finger at one person, where are those other three fingers? Pointing back at you. Okay? That's important to remember. Yes, Angel. Amen. We
Amen.
want to make sure, okay? We want to make sure that we're doing that. You're pointing at yourself too. So make sure that you're reflecting as we're going through this, call a spade a spade. And if you're a part of that toxicity, recognize that within yourself and say, okay, I may not be the victim here. I may be the one that's victimizing someone else. Okay. So it's important that we go into that.
Come on,
Are we ready?
let's go.
Let's go. Hold on now. Look, me with the answering. Let me not text answering everybody saying hi. All right,
Love it.
hit it. Hit
Love
it.
it. And if you're in here, say hi. You gotta say much. Let us know you in the building. The whole
Yes,
building. Wait a minute, Carmen San Diego, where you at?
I am in my house.
Let's go.
We didn't even talk about that. Yes, where in the world am I? I am actually home. I got to spend 11 days in New York City with my family, and we had a ball, and it was just wonderful to be able to do that, to be around people who elevate and inspire you. That's something that's beautiful too. When we talk about being in toxic relationships, who do we have around us that can bring us to help to bring us out of that
Yeah,
space that we're in?
come
you
on.
know and that's something that we're going to talk about too, because most people in toxic relationships sometimes are being pulled away from their families because they realize how strong a bond we have with those who love us and encourage us and inspire us on a daily basis. So yeah.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So signs that your relationships may be toxic when you're dealing with people who constantly criticize you. And Lord, I have very, 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 very close people to me that if I tell them they're constantly criticizing me, then they mad at me. But you won't shut the fuck up. I mean, you won't leave me alone. You won't leave me alone. Unjust criticism is just disguised compliments. It often means that you have aroused jealousy and envy. Remember that no one ever kicks a dead dog. Did you hear that? That no one. What we kicking the dead dog for? They don't go after. People don't come after something that doesn't have fruit.
Right.
We're not bothered by the tree that doesn't bear fruit.
Right.
We're bothered by the tree that bears fruit. Not we. With those people, those toxic people
Right.
who have issues with It's in themselves. Let's be clear. Let me take you to the source. They have issues with themselves.
Right.
So when they see someone else that they're close to, they criticize that person in order to release some of that energy off of themselves onto whomever, so they can feel better about themselves. Fuck them folks. Hi, Auntie. Karen's on here.
Hey, Karen. Happy New Year, darling.
You do not have to allow people who are insecure with themselves to make you feel insecure with yourself. Let me say, that's a building that I've been building brick by brick to restore. I don't know where it originally came from, but it's definitely a space that I had to work on. Correct. However, you do not I admire the people who be like, I am who I am. I'm more like that now. I am who I am. If you don't like it, so. But the ones of us, if you're like me, and you're kind of insecure about some of the decisions you make, sometimes life has been so hard and so traumatic and so detrimental. You've been through hard things. You've lost children. You've lost spouses. You lost jobs. You've lost homes. You lost cars. You lost friends. And you lost a lot of things that really made you question, am I right? And all it takes is one person to say something negative to you, or always has something to say about what you're doing with your life to break you completely. My babies, what I want to say to you today is let them go. Or put them in a very minute space. I will touch and be a part of your life in the small areas. But you're sure enough not going to criticize me to a point that I don't love.
Right. Right.
Go off, Kim.
Right. You know, I think the one thing that we have to remember when it comes to criticism is that there is constructive criticism.
There is.
Okay. And then there's just hateration, holleration in this dancery. Okay. That's what happens. You know, it's different when we can see some things that need to be addressed within ourselves. And that's where the constructive criticism comes in, because that person is trying to help to give you the stepping stones that you need to be able to get to a space of being better. So when it's a constructive criticism, it is done with the intention of helping you to move in an upward direction, so that way you can develop that better version of yourself.
Period.
So it's a hand up. It's not a thumb down.
Come on.
Know the difference.
Come on.
When that person is standing there and they're holding it and they're trying to help to elevate you, to bring you up, you know, versus that person that's constantly got their thumb on your head because they don't want to see you progress. They don't want to see you succeed.
Come
and
on.
That's where you'll see the difference. You know, just like it says in there, there's jealousy and envy that happens when people see you on your grind, see you trying to do something to get better. But they know that if they have their thumb on you, that you're not going to be able to move, that you're not going to be able to get out of that rut that you're in.
Yeah.
You know, it's a toxic relationship if that person is constantly trying to keep you in that vacuum.
Yep.
You know, they always talk about that crabs in the barrel. Thank you, Katrina.
Hey,
exactly.
Katrina.
That crabs in the barrel. You know, misery loves company. So come on down here and be miserable with me. And if I can convince you that you're no good, or that the things that you're doing are ridiculous, then you won't leave me.
Ooh.
Because what happens with constant criticism is that if you get to that point of elevation and you can move on, then they get left behind.
They got who can I criticize now? Now I gotta pay attention to me.
Right. Right. Now the mirror is back on me. Now the attention is back on me. And now I've got to do something because you're a distraction for them. Because they don't have to address their own situation, because they can focus on you and yours. You always got somebody who's always talking about what you're doing and how you're doing, you know, and telling everybody else's business but their own.
Yes.
And so they see that there's a power in that for them.
Hold on. I gotta be back. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, situation happened there. That's all right. The show is going to go on. Okay, when she comes back, we'll continue. But like I was saying, with constant criticism, it's always a matter of them looking to see how they can keep their thumb on you. And again, it's not about it's a fear for them. It's a knee jerk reaction for them because they know that if you get to a point of elevation, you may leave them behind, and they want you to be down there with them. You know, because there's nothing. It's lonely down there. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Katrina. It's about the truth. Think about some of the relationships that you've been in the past. Think about, people who criticized you. Think about what was going on with them. You know, I think about a person who was very much a part of my life, who I considered a dear friend, and always had something to say. Every time I did something, it was like, oh, well, I would do it this way, or I would do it that way. And, you know, so, and you can tell again the difference between constructive criticism and criticism that is trying to bring you down. So, you begin to see, and that's what I started seeing. At first it started out as constructive criticism, and then it just took off from there. Every single thing I did, she found something to pick at and something to prod, you know. And then when I looked at her life and the things that she was doing, I was like, okay, I see, you're spending a whole lot of time trying to mold and shape me, and I'm looking at some of the areas in your life that need molding and shaping, and I'm looking for you to take that same energy upon yourself to elevate yourself. And then when I'm not seeing that, I'm like, okay, this is again a crabs in the barrel situation, and I don't want to be in that space where I'm just living in the bottom of the barrel with you and never being able to get out. You're always looking for that person that's going to extend that hand to lift you up. You're not looking for that person who's trying to push you down. So you'll know that your relationship is toxic if you're experiencing, again, that constant criticism. Okay? We good?
Hey, girl. Hey,
All right. We
we're
good.
good.
We
We're good.
moving on.
But
We
let me
moving.
throw out there about
Go
constant
ahead.
criticism. Are you the
Yes.
person that constantly criticizes people? Check one, check two. Mic check.
All right.
Are you the person who
Hey,
always got
Carisha.
something to say about somebody? Hey, Carisha.
Happy New Year, sis.
Are you the person who always, when you get around certain people, that you got something to say about them? Or you immediately start feeling something in your spirit and it makes you think negative things about them?
Hmm.
Is it you? Because we go for both sides of this. We like to play
Absolutely.
devil's advocate over here.
Absolutely.
You have to be mindful of how you see other people and not just, or how you treat other people, and not how you think people always treat you.
Right.
There's a mindfulness behind there.
Hmm.
Did I treat this person bad?
Right.
Did something about their presence disturb my spirit?
Hmm.
Does every time I see them, it makes me uncomfortable? Or every time they have something good, who?
Mm.
Every time something good happens to them, you
Right.
feel negative?
Right. Right.
That's something you have to be conscious of too, because that means you're the, again, we talked about this, you're the toxic person in that situation.
Yeah.
Sometimes you leave people, if you don't know how to celebrate somebody else, you can learn how to shut up.
Yeah.
Whew,
That too.
you can be
That.
quiet. You ain't got to say a darn thing.
Right.
The same way they don't have to say nothing to you.
Right. Right. Just like I say, you don't have nothing nice to say. Don't say nothing at all.
That's what my mama
Close
said.
it
My
down.
mama said. My
That's
mama
it.
said.
That's why you got two ears and one mouth. Sometimes you need to listen more than you speak. Okay. Keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind.
All right.
It's on you, Kim.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Ooh. I love. First of all, I love this graphic. I really do, because you have some people that will climb into your head, get that steering wheel, and control all of the things that you do. Okay. Controlling behavior, signs that your relationships are toxic, or that the person that's around you is constantly trying to control and manipulate the things that you're doing. They're going to try to steer you away from things that you may know is the right thing to do. when we talk about that controlling behavior, we're talking about, not only in relationships, you see a lot of that in families. Sometimes it's toxic when you have somebody you're trying to set goals and dreams and aspirations, and they're trying to tell you, no, you need to go this way instead of that way. Sometimes we see that in families, and where you may want to be an artist, and no, you're going to be that doctor, you're going to be that attorney, you're going to be that person who I told you to be, and this is my house, and so in my house you're going to do things the way I tell you to do them. And we hear that all the time. When we're younger children, sometimes we don't have as much, we can't necessarily say, well, fine, I'm
No,
19, so I'm gonna walk out of this house. No, you can't. You can't do that. But as you're getting older, you can begin to determine what your destiny is going to look like and not have it be controlled by someone else. Somebody can sit there and tell you, no, this is what you need to do. But if they can't articulate to you why you should be doing that and how it is going to benefit you, then again, that's when they need to close this thing called their mouth and allow you to be able to live out your life. The one thing that I think of, and taking it to a more of a spiritual side, when my children were birthed to me, God gave them to me. And when they came into this world, I gave them back to him, because they have a choice in their life. We all have a choice to be able to decide the things that we want to do. And if I am a person that believes in the God who gave those children to me, I'm going to give them back to him, and I'm going to allow them to make the choices that they need to make, and know that with confidence that they're going to do all that is intended for them to do. Now, what I can do again is I can come in with that constructive criticism. I can come in and I can pray for them. I can advocate for them, but I am not going to control them, because at the end of the day, when my life is over and I'm not here, they're going to need to know how to move and navigate through this world without me. So I can't sit there and have the steering wheel. I need to be busy controlling my own life, my own mind. And stop focusing on someone else's, because in controlling somebody else, I'm taking the attention away from myself and the energy that I need to be using to be the best person that I can be.
That's it.
Let them come to you. Exactly, Angel. Let them come to you. Let people come to you. There should never be somebody that's telling you every step that you take. Unless you're a puppet, nobody should be sticking their hand up your behind, telling you how to move.
Yes.
That's a problem. If you can't make a decision or you can't make a move without consulting that person, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Tell me, Sheronda.
Listen, I'm going to come from the standpoint of being a controlling person. I ain't going to lie. I'm going to tell y'all one of my toxic traits is I like to be in control. It's not necessarily being in control of other people. You've gone through enough trauma.
Right.
You want to control every situation. You want things to align a certain way. You want to know that my day is going to fall this way.
Right.
You want to know. Look, let me tell you something. Don't ask me to go nowhere, because I'm driving. That's what's going to happen. I'm driving because you got one swerve and I'm done. That's it. I will never let you drive for me again. You got one dumb swerve and I'll be like, I ride with Kim. I'm used to riding with Kim. There's certain people, you're not driving me. And I have controlling habits. But here's the thing. Because I'm authentically me. What I know is, if I like to be in control, and that's one of those things that is true about me, then I am not going to, cause people to have to deal with my issue. If it's my issue, then I'm going to do what I need in order to fix it for me. I'm not going to try to control you.
Right.
That's not fair. And that's what I want to make very clear. Some people don't want to admit that they have control issues. If you have control issues, you have control. All issues have an issue. If somebody going to walk around here and try to pretend with you, it is, Ingrid. Controlling is a trauma response. Absolutely.
Yes, it is.
So if you know, but if you have to be authentically you to even recognize that you have that particular issue.
Right.
Once you peep it, you create situations that you can control. But you can't be in a relationship with another person and control every move they make.
Right.
That's absolutely nuts.
Right.
Y'all
Right.
trying to be in relationships with people and don't want them to talk to other people. You don't want them to talk to them 3 times a week, or you want them to let you know when they going out and who they gonna be with and what time are you coming. It gets excessive.
Right.
Exactly, Godmommy. We can only control ourselves. That's the only thing we can control. So I control her. I can't even try to control these 2 little boogers around me. These 2 little boys, they don't care. They don't care.
Right.
They're
Right.
going to show up as themselves. And guess what I want? Miles asked me tonight, Mommy, what do you want me to be when I grow up? I said, whatever.
Mm, that's right.
Because I'm not trying to be good. What I look like?
Right.
I'm trying to get my leg in the right leg when I put these. Never mind. You know what? You know, leave me alone. There's things I'm trying to fix for myself. Do what you do, baby. Because mommy's going to be here to cheerlead it on.
Right.
And I'm praying they have the least amount of trauma possible.
Right.
Because we all experience to some degree or another.
Right.
And that I fully am aware of where Sheronda's trying to be in control of somebody. I don't walk into somebody else's baby shower and then take over and try to make them fix things, or somebody else's wedding. But if you invite me in, boy, I'm about to tell you what. Don't invite me to do it though. Don't invite me to do it because I'm gonna do it.
There's a difference. There's, just like you said, there's a difference between someone asking for your help and you pushing your, pushing yourself on somebody. It's important that we do that. It's important, like you said, that we control and what's the terminology they use? Self-regulate. So I can't be so absorbed in trying to control every move that you make that I'm not self-regulating. I'm not doing the things that I need to do, and I'm not focusing on the things that you do, because they don't realize the person that does that is putting themselves in a position of distraction, because they're so absorbed in what you're doing, they're not paying attention to what's happening in their own life. So, so in controlling someone else, you're losing control of your own abilities, of your own faculties. And so it's important that we don't do that, that we don't stand there and feel like we have to control somebody, because in doing that, or in allowing somebody to do that, once that person is gone or something happens, they slip on a rock and bust their head wide open and they're no longer here, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? If that person is no longer there, if you seek comfort in having somebody tell you every step that you take, you're not going to know how to move.
Come on.
If something happens to that person. Case in point, I have a girlfriend who, every time I talk to her, and mama said I should do this, and mama said I should do that. Her mom passed away.
Ooh.
And she was lost, because every time the decision had to be made, every time something was going on, it was either mama said, or let me call my mama and see what my mama says about that. What happens when that person is no longer there? Is that when you realize that it was toxic for them to tell you every step that you need to make? Because what it did in essence is it crippled you. It put you at a deficit, because now you're no longer in a space where you can make decisions. And we were given an opportunity to choose. But if we're letting somebody else choose for us, we're not exercising that muscle. Okay, hold on. Kristen said, what do I do with a boyfriend who looks at me as an object?
She know. The way she phrased that question, you know the answer, Christian. I'm gonna let Kim give you some stuff.
Right.
But the fact that you even phrased that question that way, baby,
Just
your
the
spirit
fact
has
that
told
you
you.
are saying, and now you're putting it into words, so you're seeing it. Okay, that he looks at you as an object. Why is it that he sees you?
You see her answer?
Exactly. And that's where it goes back to. I'm always going to go back to them 4 agreements, because I love that. You have agreed with him that you are an object. just in the fact that you say he looks at you as one. You're not an object. You know you're not an object. You are a person. You are a child of God. You are here beautifully and wonderfully made. So if somebody's looking at you as an object, that means that, when you think about an object, does that mean that he thinks of you as an inanimate object like this bottle of water? Something that he can just use what he needs, get what he needs out of it, and then discard it?
And let me say this,
Okay.
Christian.
Yeah.
Who do you say you are? Who do you say you are, my baby? Who do you say you are? Come into agreement with that. The person who is worthy of that cat, I think that's supposed to represent, never mind. But who's worthy of your time, your presence, your energy, the person who's worthy of that comes into agreement with what you say you are, not what they say. We don't come into agreement with what people say we are.
Right.
We come into agreement with what we say. I am beautiful. I'm amazing. I'm more than enough. I am worthy. I am joyous. I am peace. I am love. I am grateful. I am powerful. I am a goddess. I am a queen. I am lovely. I am worthy. I am thankful. Who do you say you are?
Right. Because what you're
People
not is
offer you to your friends, but baby, we know. As a life coach, I don't tend to come for the other person.
Right.
I'm be honest with you. I'm be honest with you. If you came to me as your life coach, he's being who he is. He's being exactly who he's supposed to be because that's who's chosen. But you seem uncomfortable with who he sees you as. So I'm going to come to you and be like, who do you say you are?
Right.
Yes, we're going to help them straighten out their crown, God, mommy. Who do you say you are, though? Because you don't get to show up any other way in my life other than who I say I am. I've done it, baby. You're probably pretty young. Don't. Let's be clear. Sheronda's going to tell you. I've been somebody's cesspool once or twice in my younger years. But once I discovered my greatness and my own truth and my own authenticity, I aligned with people who could only see me the same way.
Right. One thing that you have to remember, Kristen, is that, like you said that, it's embarrassing because he's offered you to his friends. Do you consider yourself to be an hors d'oeuvre? It's, again, thinking about what it is that you're agreeing with. Anything that he does or he says, and you walk in that, you're agreeing with him, even though you know that that's not so about you. And if it's uncomfortable, then we have to start saying you've acknowledged that this is not something that you're comfortable with. And now it's going to be, what is going to be my next step in doing that? Yes, you need to find your true self because your true self has always been there. You're just agreeing with what it is that he's saying. But as soon as you step away from that, you're going to agree with the beautiful person that you are. You see, I don't agree to it, right? But he said that it would make him happy. And you understand that you have a choice. And so that's why you immediately say, oh, I don't agree to it. But you made the agreement to stay in that relationship. Now the question is, why?
Come on, my baby.
Just like we keep talking about what is my why. Sometimes we talk about what is my why that motivates me to do great things for myself. What is my why for why I'm staying where I am?
Period.
Why am I choosing to stay here? Is there what is it that you're getting out of this relationship that makes you feel that that's a place that's comfortable to stay when you're uncomfortable?
Let's go.
And we understand that it's a process. Everybody just can't get up and walk away.
Nobody does. Let's be clear.
Let's be clear on that.
When they get up to walk away, they've taken a lot. It's been a lot already.
Sometimes we have to position ourselves to be able to make a move. But what we have to do is, in the meantime, we have to make those preparations. We have to place in our mind that, okay, I know that this is not where I'm going to stay. I know that I want to get over there. I can see over that mountain. I mean, I can see that there's a path going that way. I need to start pivoting towards that direction. And that's where we have to start digging into that toolbox, digging into people who are going to assist us when we can't assist ourselves, which is why you're here. Because you need to hear those words as well. And just like you said, when we're good, we're great. But taking a step to leave is so scary. We understand that.
This whole damn life is scary, girl.
Okay.
Let me tell you
Absolutely.
something. Living
Absolutely. Of course,
is
when things are good is
frightening.
good, and sometimes it can overshadow
Can I,
those things that are bad.
can
Then
I
that's when
say
we have
this,
to begin to
please?
see how the scales are balancing here.
Can I say this, please?
Sure.
Do it afraid. Do it scared. Do it pissing on yourself. Do it trembling. Do it looking over your shoulder. Do it in a way that's going to make you happy.
Right.
It is scary. And I will honor that and I will meet you right there in that space.
Right.
But everything, a new job, starting your own business, doing anything
You can do it
that
afraid.
feels uncomfortable is
That's
going to be scary.
everything.
Do it
Anything that
afraid.
we do.
Do it
Right.
afraid, my baby.
Right.
They don't stop
Any,
nothing. Scary don't stop nothing. I don't walk through whole haunted houses like a dumbass. I just,
you have to.
why I'm running? Why am I running and running into walls and stuff trying to get out of a haunted house? Because
That's
I
it.
did it afraid, but that was crazy.
Right.
But no, that's life. Life is going to do that for us. What we got next, Kim? Because
That's it.
whoa, come on,
That's it.
Christian. Y'all make sure y'all click, like,
Yes.
share, notifications turned on.
That's it. Just like Ingrid said. Ingrid said you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's how we move. That's how we're able to grow. You know, we got to put our hands sometimes on that stove and burn it one good time before we realize, ooh, not going to do that again.
And some people burn at 7, but anyway, I ain't gonna talk
Okay.
about it today.
Okay.
Thank you, baby. I'm
Very
glad you
good.
like
Thanks
this.
so much, darling. We appreciate you. All
Mhm.
right. Stick with us.
All right.
All right.
So
Whew.
signs that your relationships may be toxic. Emotional manipulation. That's what we're talking about, Christian. Emotional manipulation. And the first one we got up here
Emotional
is
damage.
gas lighting.
Mm.
Who knows what gaslighting is? Who knows what gas? It is that moment where somebody make you feel crazy about something they did to you. All of a sudden, you feeling funny. Like you could say to them, you know what? You made me feel bad when you said that I was my feet are funny. My feet look funny. Because we talk about criticisms too today, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't say that. You're just too sensitive. If you weren't always so sensitive, you wouldn't be so bothered by everything that I say. Lighten you up, like you can't be bothered by what you want. The person who does it gaslight says, "Oh, I didn't mean to do that. That wasn't my intention.
Mm.
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to hurt you that way. That was not my intention. When I said that, I was just trying to come from this perspective, but I do apologize." Gaslighters don't apologize.
No.
Gaslighters do not apologize for anything they do to you.
Right.
And that's a clear indication when you really dealing with somebody who's a gaslighter because they won't say, "I'm sorry." Thank you, Christian. They do something wrong.
Right.
Why is this girl's number in your phone? It's because you wasn't sleeping with me. You wouldn't even having sex with me. So I had to go find somebody to do it with.
Right.
That's crazy. That is true. I'm not going to be accountable for my actions.
Right.
And I'm going to gaslight you into a space that makes you feel bad about you when they did something wrong.
Right.
Emotional manipulation
Right.
is to make you feel less than. It's to keep, oh my God, I did it with a guy who used to gaslight me like crazy. It was so sick. And it wasn't even my baby daddy, go figure. Ingrid.
Okay.
It wasn't. It was somebody else that would make me feel like, because of the relationships I had been in the past, he told me, "I'm the only one that's going to love you the way that I do. Nobody's ever going to love you this way.
Right.
I'm going to be the best thing that happened to you." And I almost believe that dumbass. It was very little bit, I swear. But he had nothing. So it was kind of like,
Right.
but I'm picking you up every day to get you where you need to. I kind of figured it. That one I figured out pretty quick. But people will try to make you feel bad about something they did to you. And that is, I'm going to control your emotions to where you no longer know how to feel. Ooh, you
Right.
no longer can be in control. Your sadness has no value. Your happiness, I'm going to tell you when you're going to be happy. I'm going to tell you when you're going to be sad. And I'm going to tell you if it's real or not. No, he don't get no damn pass, girl. He just ain't the first. That motherfucker don't get no pass.
No.
You brought up who it was. See, he don't get a pass.
Right.
He just wasn't the first. And the first one was brief. That one, because of pregnancy hormones, I got dumb. Come on, Kim.
Yeah. But just like you said, that gaslighting, that's something serious. That's something serious because they try to make you, they try to distort the things that you're thinking, or distort the things that are going on, to make it seem as though it's not reality. It's something that's not really happening.
It's really happening.
Oh, you run again. Oh, I didn't do that. And you're like, what? Yes, you did.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to continuously do that because it's a matter of getting you to that point where you don't know what's real and what's what's imagined. And if you're a person that's on a journey and you're struggling to try to find self, what's going to happen is, just like Ingrid said, you're going to question your own sanity because you're still trying to work through some things, and then here comes this person twisting and turning everything that you're saying, and now you're like, wait a minute, that's not what happened. But because they're continuing to say it, and you think that person cares about you, and that person is emotionally invested in you, that maybe what they're saying is right. And it's a complicated place to be in, and there are so many of us that have been gaslighted, gaslighted, I guess, on
Yes.
so many different levels because we have we're not quite clear of the direction that we're going in ourselves. And so for somebody to come in and add to that, yes, it just increases the toxicity and puts you in that state of now it's confusion. Now I'm not sure. Did that really happen? Am I making too much of it? And am I being too much? Am I not doing enough? You're going to constantly question yourself, and that's where you're going to have to get to that point of saying, okay, I'm realizing something is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having issues with being in touch with what's real and what's not.
Yeah.
And that's where I have to step out. And that's where sometimes a coach or a therapist may be necessary. That's where we have to acknowledge when something is going on and not just suppress that. The one thing that we have to understand about emotions is that we need to express the emotions that we are having and never be in a position of suppressing them. Because when we do that, we are damaging our own soul, our own spirit, our own being.
Yeah.
Because we are not allowing ourselves to feel the emotions that we have. We are human beings living a spiritual experience. So we're going to go through that myriad of emotions that come through us. So if we don't acknowledge those things, we can't begin to heal from them.
Yes.
And so, like I said, gaslighting is one that we're seeing more and more frequently because they want you to think that you're crazy. They want you to think that there's something emotionally wrong with you, so that way they can continue with the manipulation, like some of these other things that we see here, the passive aggressive behavior. You get those people that do that. 1 minute everything is going fine, next minute they're on the attack.
Yep.
They've got two faces, just like you see in that picture. They hide behind that mask. When y'all are out, y'all are having a wonderful time. You're tee-heeing, smiling, and y'all looking like y'all so in love. And then as soon as you get in that car, didn't I tell you not to do this? And weren't we supposed to do it? What? What? We see a lot of that. Unfortunately, my daughter experienced that. She would have her ex-boyfriend would sit there, and we'd all be sitting there. He'd come and visit. He'd be in the house. We just talking and tee-heeing and laughing and everything like that. And he's texting her and saying all of these negative things to her. So we're sitting there thinking, oh, look at them. Everything is so nice and so sweet. Everything is in love. And then she'd come and show me the text messages. And he's just like, why are you wearing that? And what was that? What was that comment that you made? And what is it that you said? And she's just like, what?
See?
That passive aggressive behavior, that hiding behind that mask, making everybody think that everything is all right from the exterior, but knowing that on the inside, that person is dealing with some deep-seated emotional issues themselves because they can flip it on and off just like a light switch.
When I think of passive aggressiveness, I'm so crazy. When I think of passive aggressiveness, I think of people I think of war. And
Mm.
when somebody shoots a torpedo and it comes around, but it hits them from the back, like they don't even see there's a war going on here.
Mm.
Something's going on here, but all of a
Mhm.
sudden I'm getting attacked from behind. I didn't even see it coming.
Right.
I didn't even see it coming. So a lot of times people, you won't even know that it's coming. All of a sudden they're just saying something like, I just sometimes I really do hate when people, don't wash the dishes. Sometimes it really bothers me when people don't wash dishes when they're part of a house. Instead of coming directly to somebody and saying, "Can you wash the dishes?
Right.
Can you help with these dishes? Sometimes can you help me with this particular situation?
Right.
Can you help financially?" They'll say it in the most subtle way, but it's a direct attack. Oh, they coming for you.
Yes.
It's directly coming from, and it's
Cracking and
manipulative.
facking. Cracking and facking.
That's it. Tell me what you need from me. I don't read between lines. I don't read between lines. I need you to be clear with me about something that you need from me. And people who are passive aggressive, they like to come all the way around the
Mhm.
riverbed. They don't want to just say what they got. And it's Lord, the level of manipulation drives me crazy. Oh, I like when people wear their hair long. You in a relationship with somebody. I like women who wear their hair long.
Mhm.
Bitch, my hair wasn't long when you, excuse me. My hair wasn't long when you met me. But now you're trying to passively let me know what your actual preference is in hopes that I will change my behavior for what you said you like. And that's a problem. People who are passive aggressive don't directly shoot something at you. They don't know how to directly explain themselves. Matter of fact, they cowards. That's just how I feel about people who are passive aggressive. If you can't just say, if you're so scared of my response, then you shouldn't be dealing with me in the first place.
Right.
If you're scared of how I'm going to respond to what you just said, so either say it to me or leave it alone. I don't have time to read in between lines. Christian said, "Oh God, this is my relationship now too. I used to have blonde hair. He wants you to dye it dark. That's what I'm talking about. What do we change it for? What
Right.
did we even have the first encounter in googly eyes for if something about me is not enough? Baby, when you saw me and you glanced in my direction, I was more than enough right then in that moment. Right then, you will
Right.
not make me change myself to
Right.
satisfy you."
Right. Right. That's something different. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I see Jasmine. Jasmine, I hope I'm saying your name right. Am I saying her name right? Jasmine. And she was like, this is fire. That's right. You want to be there. Like I said, it's just, that's like you said, you're talking about seeing the signs. Sometimes
Hey,
it's not until
Jess.
someone brings it to our attention that we actually see those things, you know? Like you said, that passive aggressive, that gaslighting, that lying and blaming. Okay. You know, where you almost feel like you got to have your recorder on all the time. Look at what society has conditioned us to do. To put on, always have our cameras ready, always have our recorders ready because
Yeah.
we always have to prove what we said or what we did.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, somebody's always, lying or saying that we did something that we didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Society is conditioning us to do that right now. We're constantly doing that. You see that? What do you see on the cops? The body cams, so that they're on there, so that way when they turn around and say, "Oh, well, I didn't push them, I didn't shove them." Now we got to go to the videotape on everything because we have become a society that constantly questions the things that are happening because there have been people who have just it's part of their DNA to lie and to blame and to misrepresent, that we always feel like we have to be on trial. We always feel like we have to have our camera and our phones and everything ready to record and to take pictures of those things that are going on because we've been conditioned to constantly question those things.
Yeah.
And that's part of the toxicity too. Sometimes this toxicity, develops from the environment that we're in. So we're
Yep.
conditioned to do and say things because of the environments and the areas that we've been raised in or how we've been taught to do things. And here's one of those things. Ingrid said, "Oh my God, I had to record arguments and discussions just to keep my ex from changing the story." See, how did we learn to do that? Because what did we do before cell phones? What did we do before we had recorders and things like that? Now we
Absolutely.
sitting here having that, like you said, we constantly have to be on trial. And if you feel like every time you are with your significant other with somebody else that you got to stand behind the podium and defend yourself like you're an attorney, you know, then something is wrong with that.
Yeah.
How are you going to experience joy if you have to constantly have a wall built up? If you constantly have to stand behind this podium and defend yourself with every single thing that you do, there's something wrong with that.
So, y'all, we're going to conclude this first part of the signs that your relationships may be toxic. But guess what? We'll be back next week with part 2 because this is an important conversation. This is a new year and we're doing new things. We're not allowing people to be toxic in our lives. Listen, I will always go back to at the end of any series and say, there's nothing innately wrong with you.
No.
What you're gaining from watching this show is awareness. Awareness of the spaces where you're allowing things to seep in that should not be there. There's things that should not be there. Thank you, God, mommy. Yeah, there's things that shouldn't be in our relationships and in our lives that are painful and are causing struggles, and they're seeping over into our children, they're seeping into our jobs, they're seeping into our health, they're seeking into what we believe spiritually, they're seeking into how we see ourselves, our self-love. And so that's what this year is going to continue to be. We started on that journey of redefining authenticity, and we'll conclude this year doing the same exact things. So thank you very much for joining us. Kim, did you have something else to say?
I just want to say thank you guys again. You see our YouTube channels again. Please like, follow, share, subscribe. Send us some comments. Let us know if there's other things that you want us to talk about. And reach out to us. Both of us are life coaches. We're here to assist and to support you in the things that you're doing in your life towards being the better versions of yourselves. So please reach out to us.
I got you,
Make sure that you
Jazz.
check out those reminders when we're coming. Again, yes, love, keep texting me on those reminders. Absolutely. Make sure that you join us because we'll be here next week and to look forward to continuing the conversation.
Yes.
All right, take it home, Sheronda.
So peace, love, and blessings. Y'all that I text every time, I will continue to do so. But turn your notifications on, damn it. Stop playing with me. Turn your notifications on. Keep clicking like, keep commenting so
Thank
that
you.
YouTube even know that we're here. I love y'all. Peace, love, and blessings. See you
Love you.
next Monday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right. Peace.